Hey folks, this is Riker with a gaming news wrap-up video where we discuss the happenings of the week. This week's topics include the new game releases that have amazed and disappointed, a new way to get a Diablo 4 beta key, and high cholesterol at the same time, Diablo 4 making a splash in the fashion industry, and more. As always, discussion timestamps can be found in the description below, but right before you skip ahead, just a quick reminder to ring that sub notification bell to be alerted to new Saturday episodes and stay up to date with gaming news highlights. But before we move on, just a quick word from this video's sponsor. I built my website, Riker.com, using Squarespace, and I was able to do everything myself, quickly and easily, and with zero education in the field, all thanks to how easy Squarespace is to work with. Watch how easily I update the Diablo 3 section of my website to include all my video coverage of the latest season updates. Squarespace is flexible for any kind of website, whether for your business or your hobby, with tons of templates that you can easily customize to your needs. No knowledge of coding required. You can even connect your social media profiles to automatically push website content to your socials, set up members-only areas with exclusive content, and sell products. Basically, if you want to build a website, I recommend Squarespace. It's the all-in-one platform for building your brand and growing your business online. Stand out with a beautiful website, engage with your audience, and sell anything. Your products, content you create, or even your time. Squarespace is offering my viewers 10% off your first purchase with them. Just go to squarespace.com/Riker or click the link in the description to sign up and start building your online presence. That's squarespace.com/RHYKKER and use code Riker to get started today. In our first quick story, Hi-Fi Rush, the rhythm-based action game that Surprise announced and released in late January after the Xbox and Bethesda Developer Direct showcase, is celebrating having reached 2 million players. I've heard nothing but positives about this game, and the fact that it was released out of nowhere with no prior hype and it's already reached 2 million players in basically just a month is a testament to how fun it is. If you've played Hi-Fi Rush, what are your thoughts on the game? Sound off in the comments. In other quick news, we got this week an extended gameplay trailer for Dead Island 2. The game itself launches on April 21st, and the gameplay is looking promising, and damn, the gore effects are on point. Video link in the description below. We also got the reveal trailer for Deep Rock Galactic Survivor, which seems like a Vampire Survivor spin on Deep Rock Galactic. It's a single-player survivor-like auto-shooter and self-describes as a reverse bullet hell with mining. You got procedural map generation as you kill bugs, upgrade your gear, and delve ever deeper. It'll hit early access sometime this year. In other news, Elden Ring, 1 year after its release, has announced an expansion, Shadow of the Erdtree. The expansion is currently in development with no announced release date. What's funny though is that they didn't make this announcement on the actual anniversary of the game, which was just last week, or when they won the DICE Game of the Year award, again, last week. They just dropped it on a random day with no fanfare, just a casual, oh by the way. In another story, Babylon's Fall, an action role-playing game developed by Bayonetta creators Platinum Games and published by Square Enix, released a patch this week. The patch notes were quite short. They simply read, end of service. The game released on March 3rd, 2022, and now it shut down on February 28th, just under a year later. The game had bad reviews, and it was a commercial failure. As of September, they had already announced plans to shut down the game's servers. And since it's a live service, that means, well, no one can play the game anymore. The few people who did spend money on it, well, now it's gone. I'm just shocked that after 5 years of AAA development, a game published by Square Enix can manage to have an all-time concurrent player peak on Steam of just 1,166 players. And the concurrent player count back in December was in the single digits. It's mind-boggling. Contrast that with our next story, Sons of the Forest, released in early access on February 23rd, and it's doing exceptionally well, having peaked at 269,000 concurrent players on Steam, where it has very positive reviews. It's a survival horror game and a sequel to 2014's The Forest, and it sold over 2 million copies within its first 24 hours. Then Kerbal Space Program 2 released the following day into early access, and unfortunately isn't doing quite as well. Feedback has been mixed. A lot of players are complaining about how broken the game is, even for an early access title. And in particular, they're kind of pissed at it being priced at $50 given its current state. But those who have managed to power through have noted that the game has noticeable improvements over the original beloved title. And the devs have a full roadmap planned out for their development of the game. And since the first game received a lot of dev love for a long time, I do believe that this game will turn things around. Eventually, at least. As of now, the reviews suggest you may want to hold off on this one. But if you've played Kerbal Space Program 2, what are your thoughts? Sound off in the comments. In other news, this week saw the release of Wo Long Fallen Dynasty, an action role-playing game developed by Ninja Gaiden and Dead or Alive creator Team Ninja, and it's being well received by critics with an OpenCritic average score of 82 and 85% of critics recommending it. On PC, however, the game's performance suffers, with lots of stuttering and slowdowns reported by players. On Steam, the game has mostly negative reviews, which all seem to revolve around it being a poorly optimized PC port. And this, unfortunately, is old news for Team Ninja. Their PC ports are often poorly optimized, but they do seem to at least release patches to improve things over time. It's also just become a shocking trend lately. A lot of multi-platform games that have released over the past few months have had bad performance on PC, at least at launch. I thought we were well past the days of PC being treated like the afterthought. Then, in an update on Microsoft trying to buy Activision Blizzard, the FTC has granted Microsoft's request for access to Sony's internal documents. Basically, Microsoft had subpoenaed Sony contested the subpoena, and the FTC has now ruled in Microsoft's favor. That's what Sony gets for trying to fight this merger. Now their dirty laundry may be brought to the public, like how much they pay publishers to keep their games off Xbox. Overall, it is seeming once again increasingly likely that the deal will push through. Reuters is reporting that the EU will approve the deal without Microsoft having to sell off the Call of Duty franchise, which was previously being reported as a condition under which the deal may have been allowed to go through. Then moving on to some Path of Exile news, the devs have shared that Sanctum League will not be going core in the next expansion, but they do want to find a way to work it into the game at some point. Before that though, they need to rebalance it, add more content to it, and find a way to integrate it into the gameplay loop that doesn't force it onto players. They also clarified that the Sanctum-specific uniques will not be obtainable next League. In the meantime though, Sanctum League is being extended to April 4th, and the next expansion will be launching early April. Throughout March, the devs will be running a series of end-of-League events. There's going to be prizes, and these events involve creative takes on how you normally play Path of Exile, like an entire alternate reality rework that replaces the currency system with just plain gold like other ARPGs. Then in some last Epoch news, over 30,000 players participated in the multiplayer open beta weekend. Patch 0.9, Convergence, which will be the official release of multiplayer, is slated for a March 9th launch. And the devs have released a trailer for this upcoming update, and it's pretty hype. And as part of their pre-patch hype week, the devs are posting updates covering different aspects of the game that they've improved with the coming patch. With their first update, they covered music and sound, the second covered level design, and more are releasing over time. The game has visually evolved quite a bit over the years, and non-visually too, of course, but it's a bit rare to see a game's visuals improve dramatically throughout development. Then in some Diablo news, we got this week a number of updates on Diablo 4. During the dev livestream, we got the game's system requirements, which are quite low. An 8-year-old graphics card will be enough for the recommended settings. The irony here is that Diablo 2 Resurrected had higher system requirements. We also found out that if you reach level 20 in the upcoming betas during the last 2 weekends of March, you'll unlock the most adorable cosmetic, a wolf puppy that you get to carry on your back. For a full summary of the dev livestream, including the Diablo franchise manager getting pied in the face, check out this video here. One interesting thing to note about the console beta, for the early access weekend, you can play multiplayer via couch co-op, and only one person needs to have pre-ordered the game. Now from this, I'm gleaning that couch co-op will play with up to 2 players, but you can then also party up with other players via regular co-op to have a total party size of 4. Also, we learned that if you're near another player, you get a 5% buff to XP from your kills, and if that player is in your party, instead that's a 10% buff. We don't know what near means, but Blizzard is generally pretty forgiving with the radius. Now, while pre-ordering is your normal guaranteed way of getting into the early access beta weekend, there's apparently another way: buying a KFC Double Down sandwich. You see, in mid-February, Reddit user GoreDeathKill claimed to work at KFC and leaked an alleged internal email which said, 1, that the famous Double Down sandwich was coming back after a 10-year hiatus, and 2, that you can get a key to the early access Diablo 4 beta if you buy one. Now, I didn't previously report on this because there was no way to corroborate it, but this week KFC officially revealed that the Double Down is, in fact, returning on March 6th, which is the same date that GoreDeathKill claimed, so suddenly this leak gets a whole lot more legitimate. I imagine any day now we're gonna hear officially about this partnership. I guess Hellfire would give you heartburn. Also this week, we got a 30-second early access trailer in which we get to hear Lilith's voice.
I can make you the hero you were.
And damn is the actor great. It's not just some evil demon voice, she's like a charismatic cult leader. And it reaffirms my commitment to Team Lilith. Papa Inarius is an ultimate badass, but I would follow Mama Lilith into hell any day. Now how about you folks? Are you Team Lilith or Team Inarius? Sound off in the comments. Blizzard also released this week on the official Diablo YouTube channel some Diablo lo-fi beats to stay a while and listen to. It's the Diablo 2 songs Tristram, Caves, and Wilderness, remixed in lo-fi style by Rezodrone. Link to that in the description. I've been listening to it while I work. Then in some truly bizarre Diablo news, Diablo 4 appeared at Milan Fashion Week. Blizzard teamed up with fashion company Han Kubenhauen to create a number of Diablo-inspired outfits to present at the fashion show. Speaking with Enemy.com, the artistic director of Han Kubenhauen, Yannick Viglesu-Davidson, said that he used to play Diablo back in the day, and that the challenge for him here was finding the right balance between something that was distinctly Diablo, yet also something that would fit right in at Milan Fashion Week. Speaking with Polygon, he said the inspiration for the collection was the phrase, "Hell is a beautiful place." And this fall-winter collection, titled Chthonic Penumbra, love the name, basically means Shadow of the Gods, will be available for purchase this summer. So if you're looking to impress at your next event, though it should be stated that when they put these for sale, it's going to be a more wearable version. It's my understanding of how these haute couture things work. What they present on the catwalk is like the really crazy out there, fully artistic version, and that what they sell in stores for people to wear day to day is a lot more toned down and practical. And then lastly, in Diablo news, Carbot released a new hilarious cartoon, Diablo 3 in a nutshell, and as always, it is spot on accurate. Video in the description for you to check out for yourself. Because that's gonna wrap up this week's video. But do be sure to have checked out last week's video in which we discussed how Last Epoch has come up with the most genius solution to the ARPG trade dilemma. Thanks for watching. Special thanks to my Twitch, Patreon, and YouTube supporters for making these videos possible. If you like what you see on this channel and want to support the creation of more content, you can consider pledging on YouTube or Patreon and unlocking behind the scenes content, monthly virtual hangouts, and more. If you enjoyed this video, please share it. Check out these other videos and subscribe to join Rikers Raiders for more gaming content.